You start your car up in the morning and you hear this subtle ticking noise coming from the engine. There are some noises your car might make where it's obvious that something is wrong, but there are others where it's not so obvious and they might even be harder to pinpoint and diagnose, and that's okay. The thing with this noise is it disappears after only a few seconds of the engine running, so you either forget about it until the next time you hear it, or you don't even know where to start diagnosing it because it seems like it's gone. What does not usually go away though is the smell of exhaust in the cabin of the vehicle when it's idling. So red lights, stop signs, or even letting it warm up or cool down, depending on what time of year it is. If you do that, you can smell it in the vehicle. And not only is it not a pleasant smell, it's dangerous. Let me clue you in on a little secret based on my professional experience. These are classic signs of an exhaust manifold leak right where it meets the head. So you either have a bad gasket, a broken bolt or stud, or a cracked exhaust manifold. Now, if it's a very small gap, heat, which expands metal, will close that gap mostly, which is why you're not hearing it anymore after it warms up. But you can still smell it because it's still leaking a little bit, and that's where you're gonna wanna look further. In our case, this is very easy to inspect as this is all out in the open, and I don't see anything wrong here. All of my bolts are installed and not broken. Sometimes there's studs with mounting nuts, doesn't make a difference though. The gasket seems perfectly fine. I can see it all throughout, and it's not blown out. There isn't a gap here. It's not black from soot. And I know I can't see cracks in the exhaust manifold because this is covered with a shield, but I'm not too concerned about it because I don't hear any noise coming from this side. I actually hear it from the other side. Inspecting the other side, the front of it looks good, but on the rear, I see some black soot, and would you look at that? There's no bolt. That's our problem. This repair might seem intimidating. It's important to know that you need certain tools, and there really are only two ways that you can overcome this properly. Now, it's also easy to do the wrong thing and damage things further, so I want to go over what you need to know and what tools you'll need to get this broken bolt out of there and get your exhaust sealed up. First though, let's get the vehicle safely raised and supported. I'm going to take this wheel off, the fender liner, and let's add some light in there because I can't see a single thing. That's better. The first way to get the broken stud out, or bolt, is to drill it out. A 90-degree drill is typically preferred because whether it's electric or pneumatic, it fits in a lot better than a regular size drill. Now that comes with its downsides, and that is that you have to drill perfectly straight or you will easily go at an angle and basically destroy the head. So another option is if you have a little bit of that stud or bolt sticking out of the head still, you can use an extractor socket, tap it on there and twist it off. Or you can weld a nut onto the end of that stud and then use a socket or a wrench on the end of that nut, pull it out. The one that we're dealing with is all the way back there, and it's going to be impossible to get any sort of drill in there, even with the manifold out. Now, if I were to drill this out, what I would like to do is start it with the manifold on so that the manifold hole can guide the drill bit. Regardless, I cannot fit any sort of drill back there. So let's remove the spark plug wires, remove the manifold. Looking at these exhaust ports, you can clearly see the exhaust leak right here because it's full of soot. And the gasket wasn't blown, but the bolt being broken caused it not to press tight up against that gasket and the head, and therefore exhaust was blowing right by. I always prefer to start with the easiest method first, and that is to use the stud extractor. And because that didn't work, on to the second method it is. So let's build up some material and weld the nut onto it. Now remember, anytime you weld on a vehicle, always disconnect the negative battery terminal first. All right, victory. We got the stud out, the threads look okay, which means the aluminum side is likely not very damaged, but this is awesome. We got it out. Let's get our manifold back on with the gasket, tighten up all the hardware, put our shield on, connect it to the pipe, put on our spark plug wires. I'm able to double check my repair at this point, so let's turn this on and have a listen. Nice and quiet. I don't hear any more exhaust leaks, which is great. So let's get the fender liner back on and the wheel. And one more tip I have for you is you need to be patient. A job like this requires persistence, a lot of trial and error, and it could take a while. So remember, take it one step at a time and you'll succeed.